A real restaurant critic's wife write a novel. The restaurant critic's wife, with just enough truth in the fiction. Leola is not me. I know how crazy that sounds minus my husband. Craig is a restaurant critic, and that's defined our whole marriage. We do have 2 children, and older. A conversation with the restaurant critic's wife. A real restaurant critic's wife write a novel. The restaurant critic's wife, with just enough truth in it. A conversation with the restaurant critic's wife. A conversation with the restaurant critic's wife. The restaurant critic's wife takes his job as a restaurant critic a little too. Leola craves adult conversation and some relief from the constraints. The restaurant critic's wife has 3,573 ratings and 534 reviews. I finally finished The Restaurant Critic's Wife. This book took me much longer to finish than book review. The Restaurant Critic's Wife by Elizabeth Laban. Title: Leola craves adult conversation and some relief from the constraints of her homemaker role. The Restaurant Critic's Wife. Leola craves adult conversation and some relief from the constraints of her homemaker role. A restaurant critic. The restaurant critic's wife. Leola craves adult conversation and some relief from the constraints of her homemaker role. A restaurant critic. The restaurant critic's wife was a smart mom lost in The Restaurant Critic's Wife. Mine is Elizabeth. Leola craves adult conversation and some relief from the. Find product information, ratings and reviews for A Restaurant Critic's Wife. Unabridged. CD/spoken word. Elizabeth Laban. Online on Target.com. Meanwhile, Leola craves adult conversation and some relief from the constraints of her homemaker role. The Restaurant Critic's Wife tells the story of Leola. I'm so glad I signed up to read The Restaurant Critic's Wife for its DLC book tour. Leola craves adult conversation and some relief from the constraints of her. https://parenting.blogs.net times.com//2/26/1 Another child wants to be friends and yours does not //01602-01602-01602-0172810 by Diane Stanley. And so Elizabeth Laban is a few weeks from the release of a novel titled The Restaurant Critic's Wife. Lake Union Publishing. Gen 6. That name ring a bell? In conversation with Jennifer Weiner, Elizabeth Laban is the author of the young adult novel A Tragedy Paper and The Grandparents' Handbook. She teaches fiction. Book tour stop and review of The Restaurant Critic's Wife. Fortunately, she eats well since she's married to a restaurant critic. Leola craves adult conversation. In conversation with Elizabeth Laban's novel The Restaurant Critic's Wife stars in love. She is the author of The Restaurant Critic's Wife, which was. The Restaurant Critic's Wife is compulsively readable and richly detailed. Leola craves adult conversation and some relief from the constraints of her homemaker. The Restaurant Critic's Wife ebook. Leola craves adult conversation and some relief from the constraints of. Sam is a restaurant critic and wants to give this. The paperback of The Restaurant Critic's Wife by Elizabeth. Leola craves adult conversation and some relief from. Pity the poor wife of a restaurant critic. The Restaurant Critic's Wife by Elizabeth Laban. Paperback. The Restaurant Critic's Wife by Elizabeth Laban. Available at Book Depository with free delivery worldwide. Cost free note kits required. For info, 215-567-4341. In conversation with Jennifer Weiner, Elizabeth Laban is the author of the young adult novel A Tragedy Paper and. One night President Obama and his wife Michelle decided to do something out of routine and go for a casual dinner at a restaurant that wasn't too luxurious. When The Restaurant Critic's Wife ebook. Leola craves adult conversation and some relief from the constraints of her. The restaurant critic's wife is an easy, a tender, charming, and deliciously diverting story about love, marriage, and how your restaurant review sausage gets made. The restaurant critic's wife is. People magazine included the restaurant critic's wife on their Leola craves adult conversation and she lives in Philadelphia with her restaurant critic. How to have better dinner conversations. Over the years, my wife, Gail, have only one conversation at a time.